Well, welcome back once again to a terrific episode of Monday Night Madness. We could almost call it Monday Night Football because I almost feel like kicking that thing right back to the previous owner. But what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get in there and figure out exactly what the problem is, come up with an exact solution to it, and maybe get it going. Somebody did suggest, and this is where comments come in very handy, people. If you have ideas, I'd like to see them in the comments or in emails or whatever. If you have ideas on how to get this thing going. If it's a bad board, it's a bad board. There's nothing any of us are going to be able to do about that. If it's a bad board, we can pull that board out. We can maybe put a bridge rectifier and run that through a bidirectional switch. And I would still at least have a switch engine. But as it sits right now, the engine does nothing. It won't do anything. We have the direction switch, on-off switch, right underneath the engineer's side of the cab. There is a smoke unit switch, and I believe there's a horn switch on it too, where you can turn the horn off. And, not be able to utilize the horn otherwise, or the whistle. It does have a whistle circuit on it. That seems to work. It's about the only thing that works. But so one said to use some CRC10 on it. Well, finding CRC10 or CRC spray anywhere around here, which, well, they say they got it at Walmart, and the stores are supposed to have it. What it is, basically, it's the same thing as an electronics duster, and it's what it is the old TV tuner cleaner, if you remember those days when you had the mechanical tuners on the TVs. Kids these days, they just don't understand, do they? But we've got to tear it apart again, and maybe let me get you turned around here. Let me get it in here, and let's see. So you got your reverse on-off switch here. You got the smoke switch over here and the whistle on-off switch here. This is the smoke on-off. So what we can do is we can come in and who cares at this point? All right, I'm going to go ahead and take the I could almost switch this thing over to KD couplers without doing a whole lot of work on it. I'd have to build a pilot for it. It looks like it may have had a pilot at one time, because it looks like you got some threaded holes right here. So I just wonder, why isn't that on there? Gee, it looks so pristine sitting on that sale table. Alrighty. Like I said, I've been down. You remember the last video I did this on? I had gotten that I told you I'd been down in here. There's plenty of oil and grease on the gears, and they do work. We determined that in the last in the Withlacoochee River report number 64, where I took and had actually gotten this thing apart then. We'll go ahead and get these out. Got to pull the couplers in order to get the body shell off. At least I think you do. I may be wrong on that, but we'll get it figured out here. Like I said, I'm getting used to pulling the couplers. What I may do is just really pull the couplers and be rid of these couplers. They come off pretty easy. Yeah, really pull the couplers. KDs would work right there. It looks like this is probably the right height. I ought to check that while I've got the couplers off of it. Get my KD gauge there and just check that. And I'd have to drill a couple of holes to make them work. Okay. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess I could have pulled that without the... Still got to figure out why isn't this pickup roller picking up power. Alrighty. It's like it's completely dead. And yet it is screwed into the connector that's connected to the wire. So, huh. Screws are loose. Just turn it back over and the screws will fall out. Alright. Oh yeah, okay, now I remember. I was looking for the back screws here. Found them. Yeah, I guess you can take the shell off without removing the couplers. But like I said, when I get this off of here, I'm gonna go over to the track number 1, and I'm going to place it on track number 1. And I am going to measure the height of that deck. Okay. Remember last time I disconnected both those wires, so that wasn't working anyway. I mean, it'll be working when the lights were at least working at one time. Let's see. They suggested I clean the switch. That'd be this switch right here. Not really. Looks like the soldering joints are good on it. Soldering joints are normal. I've never turned the smoke on this thing, so I don't know whether that switch is any good or not. But this is the direction switch right here. I guess I should try to go ahead and use some of this cleaner to clean it out with. What do you think, huh? Can it be cleaned from the back, or do I need to turn it over and just do this? Really? I hate things like that. I really do. You would think they would do a better job with this crap. Oh, this can just froze right up, didn't it? Oh, that can's frozen. All right. Okay, let's see. What the heck fell apart here? Oh, the smoke unit fell out. Huh. I wouldn't think that the smoke unit would have anything to do with... I think it's supposed to be screwed in there, isn't it? Huh. I think somebody's been in here before trying to figure this thing out. But the smoke unit is connected, so... Or at least it's... Huh. Maybe, maybe not. But I don't think that the smoke unit is going to have any effect on the... I believe its ground is disconnected, but it's got its connection to the board. Now remember, if you remember correctly, we were able to determine that the motor works. The motor works fine. And if you remember correctly, we determined that yes, there was some water in here. There had to have been. There's rust up here on these two screws. I don't think the cab is separate, no. But there is, this is the rear light. This is the front lights. Let me get those cleaned out real quick as well. Get these plugs cleaned out so that when I go back together with it, those items will have been cleaned. We know that even though it looks like it's had water in it, the light circuit, which is right up here, was working. And that might be the direction circuit as well. I don't know. A couple of things I want to check, though, and I'm going to take this over to the track real quick. And we're going to get us a look at it. Alrighty. Now, where is the, should be up here somewhere. I know I've got it somewhere. Don't that figure? Oh, crud. Where'd my coupler height gauge go? Not down here anywhere. I don't keep it over there. Let me go ahead and get this stuff off of here. Don't that figure? Well, what the heck could have happened to it? I know I didn't drop it anywhere. Where's my coupler height gauge? Oh, it's over here. Okay. Woo! Alrighty. Damn, we have to get that thing picked up on this end. Otherwise the couplers would be too low. Okay. Oh yeah. We'd have to figure out a way to raise that up. Sure would. Okay. Set that over there. Let's see if we've got it going. I'm going to turn the reverse unit on and see if we can get any see if we can rouse it to life, maybe. Whoops, wrong one. Nope. No, she doesn't appear to be coming to life at all. Yeah. Like I said before, we know that the motor is good, but I'm afraid the board is shot. And that's really the only thing I could come up with, is that the motor is shot. Because I'm not getting anything out of it. Huh. Well, I think it's about time we put it back together. Well, wait a second. No, I think it's still connected, so. Alrighty. Well, I'll tell you what. Just a little bit PO'd about it. Not much I can do about it, though. So, that was several dollars wasted there on an engine that, you know, he demanded full price for, that he wanted. He got it. Kind of pisses me off. But the only thing I could think of is that the board is, either the board is no good, there's got to be something terribly wrong here with it. So, anyway, I'm sure he'll work with me on it if he knows what's good for him. Alrighty, let's see here if we can get these connected back in where they belong. I hope we can. Let's see here. I hate these little plugs. I mean, they are such... Okay, that one went back in. Okay, now for this one here, it kind of goes. go that way, does it? Okay. Bet it goes this way, though. You know, I'm getting pretty disgusted with this thing. I'm like my brother in a way. I hate it when things don't work. And then when they don't go back together, when you know that's the way they came apart. You got to wonder, how in the hell do they think this stuff up? Come on. Really? I wouldn't think it would go in the other way. Of course not. That's backwards. Wish I could see what I was doing. Oh, okay, that does it. I'm putting this thing back together. And it's going to be a shelf clean, or it's going into the garbage, or it's going back to the previous owner. One of the many. Really? How come you're not going onto that smoke unit now? Oh, there we go. Alrighty, now you're getting the right idea. There we go. Oh yeah, alright. Alrighty. This thing I am ready to give up on. There's no reason for it not to have been a good runner when I got it. It just tells me he doesn't really check his locomotives too much. Of course, that much I already knew. So that part of it, and I'd never really gotten anything bad from him. You're kidding, right? No, not a good thing. There. Like I said, I've never gotten a bad locomotive from him before. You know, they've all at least run. Excuse me. No, that was just a little bit too close for comfort there. Let me get it magnetized on the... Alright, now might be able to do it a little easier. Alright, there we go. This is one of those items that was so crappy from Lionel that the two-railers, I mean, it was only like $104 when it was new. So the two-railers would be buying them up. The guy that I mentioned the last time used to convert these to two-rail. Well, he passed away, and he had given up doing them anyway because he was tired of doing them. And I can't say that I blame him. He used to charge not too much for it, but, it was a pain. But, he could convert them over to two-rail. I don't know whether he changed out the... Of course, obviously, the pickup rollers would be pulled off. Yeah, I guess the only reason people would buy these is because they have Lionel's name written all over them. Because it's not really a locomotive. From my experience, it's not a locomotive that actually does anything. Set up there. Don't give me any crap. Alrighty. Yeah, I think that this locomotive has been flooded and shorted, and as a result, I don't know that it's necessarily, it didn't have a lot of rust like it had actually been in a flood, if you get my drift. And if it was in water, if it was submerged in water, it was submerged in fresh water. Because if it had been submerged in salt water, of course that motor wouldn't run at all. I happen to know that the motor runs. Like I said, what I can do with it is put a bridge rectifier in it and make it to where it runs for sure. You know, with just the motor, the board would be out of it. The only part of the board I'd save is where the engineer and firemen are sitting. And it'd be, what's left would be held in by one screw. Don't know that I'd even be able to hook the lights up. I'm sure I could. I'm sure they're just incandescent bulbs. When you consider that this was probably made in 2004, 2005, 2006, somewhere in there. We know that the motor runs, and we know the motor runs good. If you remember correctly, in a previous video, I had it hooked up to a DC power supply directly to the motor, and it ran. And it ran in both directions, just the motor. Also, as I said, I could probably take the, I could rewire where the power comes in off of the pickups. And you can also wire in a switch beyond your, it'd have to be a double pole, double throw switch. Can't be single pole, single throw, because all that'd be is an on-off switch. You want on, off, on, and on, off, on, you know, so that you're able to actually reverse. So, with that in mind, I may do that. I can get, if I can get my hands on any of those switches. Of course, I don't want a big switch sticking out down here, but of course you can cut the little handle off the switch if you have to. But yeah, you can actually throw a switch in there that would probably do what you need it to do. And you can get them pretty small. Getting them locally, that's going to be a trick. But I think having an on-off switch probably is. Of course, I could probably come in and wire in through the off the smoke unit switch. And just have two on-off switches and have the wires reversed from the motor. Or, yeah, wires reversed from the, from each side of the, whatchamacallit. And you just wouldn't want to run them both at once, because that would confuse everything. It wouldn't be a short. It'd look like one. But, for the time being, this engine is on the deadline. So, I'm glad you joined me here for Monday Night Madness. This is certainly one of those things that does make you mad on a Monday, or any other day of the week for that matter. If you like the content, be sure you subscribe, subscribe, and share. Share. This way, if you like my videos, the YouTube algorithm sees that and says, hey, somebody likes this. Let's promote it to more people. And that always works as well. So, you know, and it starts going to the people with the slightest interest in model trains. And it's nice to be able to, as I'm going through watching my normal videos that I watch, to see one of mine come up every once in a while and notice that people are watching them more. So I appreciate it. So for this Monday night, well, that's going to do it. And so till next time, happy railroading.